the opposite of what you always were, you have to change your name. It's become a trend in America these days, morphing into something completely different from what you were founded as, but still pretending you're the old you. Finally, new rule, there's nothing wrong with not having an opinion on something, especially if you don't know what the you're talking about. And if you're getting your facts from TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, I don't want to hear your hot take on asymmetrical warfare, because there's a term for someone who gets their news from Facebook. Mom.
Bill Maher is taking aim at woke brands, and he's not holding back. The outspoken comedy firebrand calls out their weak strategies and breaks down exactly why so many of these companies are falling apart. Unfiltered, direct, and brutally honest, Maher lays it all bare. So smash that subscribe button, and let's get started.
Stands for the Learning Channel. They used to have shows like Learn to Read and Ready, Set, Learn. Here's some of their present and recent offerings. Cake Boss, Gypsy Sisters, Toddlers and Tiaras, Extreme Couponing, What Not to Wear, My Teen is Pregnant and So Am I. 1,000-Pound Sisters and Alaskan Women Looking for Love. And that's just the shows about the Palins.
Maher opened by calling out woke TV show producers for abandoning their core mission and drifting into ideological territory that has nothing to do with their original brand. According to him, instead of focusing on compelling storytelling, sharp writing, and real entertainment value, many producers have chosen to chase political trends they barely understand. He acknowledged that some shows may be doing this out of desperation, fearing irrelevance or extinction in an increasingly crowded media landscape. But Maher argues that panic-driven pandering isn't evolution, it's capitulation. True growth, he says, comes from refining what made a show successful in the first place, not hijacking it with forced messaging. Rather than injecting woke narratives to stay afloat, producers could modernize within their own lane, take genuine creative risks, and respect their audience's intelligence. By prioritizing ideology over authenticity, Maher warns television isn't becoming more progressive. It's becoming more predictable, disconnected, and ultimately disposable.
A in A&E stands for arts. Seriously, they used to show the symphony. Now they have Deep Fried Dynasty, Hoarders, Storage Wars, Ghost Hunters, and Psychic Kids. You know, for people who find the Learning Channel too intellectual. The History Channel has no history, and MTV has no music. I'm just saying, you can buy a petting zoo and turn it into a bondage dungeon, but you gotta change the sign.
Maher then went after A&E, accusing the network of abandoning the very meaning behind its name. He argued that A&E sacrificed the arts in a desperate attempt to chase broader, trend-driven programming, instead of honoring its original mission, celebrating creativity, culture, and artistic expression. The network drifted toward content designed to appeal to mass-market tastes. Maher acknowledged that America has a wide and diverse audience, with different preferences and viewing habits. But he stressed that not every network needs to cater to everyone. Even if the audience for pure art, history, and thoughtful storytelling isn't massive, those viewers still matter. They deserve a platform that respects their interests instead of sidelining them for ratings. By abandoning its niche, Maher argued A&E didn't expand its reach. It diluted its identity. In trying to please everybody, the network ended up serving nobody, losing both artistic credibility and loyal viewers along the way.
Decades, Playboy was the go-to whack-off magazine for heterosexual men, with reviews of movies that came out 6 months ago and a lot of information about stereos. And fiction by Kurt Vonnegut. But mostly the masturbation thing, which was facilitated by pictures of women naked. Well, in 2016, Playboy did away with the nudity. They took the tits out of Playboy. It's like taking the cats out of Cat Fancy. Last year, Playboy put a gay man on the cover, which I guess we're supposed to celebrate, even though it was 2021 and there's already a dozen magazines for gay guys. 13 if you count Martha Stewart Living.
Playboy magazine also came under Maher's microscope as he criticized the brand for abandoning the very formula that built its fame, influence, and financial success. According to Maher, Playboy didn't simply evolve with the times. It panicked. Bowing to pressure from woke activists, the brand discarded its identity in a rush to appear morally fashionable. What followed, he argues, was completely predictable. Playboy lost its cultural relevance, confused its core audience, and failed to offer anything compelling to attract a new one. By rejecting what once made it unique, the magazine became just another bland outlet in an already overcrowded media landscape. Maher points out that this sudden ideological pivot didn't revive the brand or win public approval. Instead, sales collapsed, investor confidence eroded, and the company's stock took a sharp nosedive. In trying to appease critics who were never loyal customers to begin with, Playboy alienated its base and paid the price for it.
Percent of consumers now will buy a product or boycott a product based solely on the political stance a company takes. Gen Z consumers need to know if their spermicide condemns cockfighting. Disney didn't want to get into a big pissing match with Ron DeSantis about grade school, but its employees sure did, so they had to. Now one side thinks Disney said too much, the other thinks it didn't say enough. We see this pattern over and over. We saw it with Bud Light when they did ads with a trans influencer, and MAGA Nation thought it was a plot to use beer to turn them gay.
Maher argues that he's right about one thing above all else. America's political landscape has become so deeply polarized that major brands now operate in a cultural minefield. One wrong message, one poorly timed statement, and a company can trigger instant backlash, viral outrage, and organized boycotts. In this climate, brands are no longer judged solely on the quality of their products, but on their perceived political loyalty. That reality makes clarity of identity more important than ever. Maher warns that companies do the most damage to themselves when they abandon what they stand for and wander into ideological battles that offer no real upside. Political posturing rarely builds trust, but it can destroy it overnight. Staying true to a brand's core mission, values, and audience isn't outdated. It's essential. When businesses chase trends instead of authenticity, they lose credibility on all sides. In a divided culture, focus isn't weakness, it's survival.
LGBT representation in Playboy? There's a transgender teenager on every show on television except reruns of Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. The same thing is going on with the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue, which now celebrates all kind of bodies except, the good kind.
One of the main reasons these brands built massive customer bases in the first place was simple. They stood for something clear. They offered a specific product, identity, or message that people genuinely connected with. Consumers didn't follow them by accident. They showed up in droves because the brand excited them, earned their loyalty, and consistently delivered value. That clarity created trust, recognition, and long-term engagement. But the moment these companies abandoned their core message, the very reason people supported them in the first place, everything started to unravel. Instead of strengthening what worked, they replaced it with vague slogans and constantly shifting narratives that felt forced and unfamiliar. Loyal customers no longer recognized the brands they once loved. And as that connection disappeared, so did the audience. Maher's point is simple but brutal. People don't leave because brands fail to change. They leave because brands forget who they are. When identity is sacrificed, loyalty collapses right along with it.
One magazine once a year that was about finding creative ways for supermodels to hide their nipples. Now it looks like it's edited by the Huffington Post. Jeez, you have every other magazine. Do you hate Dad that much? If he can't rub one out in the garage, what is he supposed to do in there? Actually sand something? This is not progress. You haven't reformed the soft-core gentleman invader. You've driven him to creepy.com.
Maher said he finds it striking how, In his view, the woke movement has seeped into nearly every corner of society, leaving disruption in its wake. He argued that institutions once created with clear purposes are now being reshaped beyond recognition. As an example, Maher pointed to the Boy Scouts now including girls, even though the Girl Scouts already exist. And even if they didn't, he questioned what would truly prevent the creation of a separate organization designed specifically for them. For Maher, the issue isn't inclusion, it's the erosion of distinction. He argued that when every space is forced to serve everyone, those spaces begin to lose their meaning altogether. This relentless push, he suggested, ignores tradition, structure, and choice in favor of ideological uniformity. Not everything needs to be merged or reinvented. Some institutions can coexist side by side without conflict. At times, Maher concluded, the logic driving these changes feels so extreme that it borders on the unbelievable. And that brings us to the end of today's video. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.